Good morning. A little bit of coughing this morning. I just noticed we got a whole line of stuff coming from the left here on 46. Probably headed to East Palestine. Fire departments, response groups. Stuff that was probably headed there a couple days ago and then turned around. So a couple of them made the light there and they'll be heading out straight. And I'm staying away from it all. Yeah, there they go. Yeah. Oh, we'll head north. I'm going to head to Sanford. I'll get some frozen chicken for wraps. So, I mean, it's on Al Jazeera News, Australian news, worldwide, about that derailment. I mean, right near the Pennsylvania border. So, somebody responded on one of the news things that it was on fire in New Waterford, but I didn't click on what she said to click on to confirm anything. So that's just, unless it's verified, it's, not verified. Wow, this place is all cleared out. So NTSB mentioned that it might be a hot bearing. They had a warning from a hot box detector was what they're talking about. And of course, that's a hot bearing detector nowadays. The boxes were the outside the bearings where they'd fill them with grease, and now it's all sealed bearings. So it just lays, I guess, outside the rails on either side, and just might be like an infrared scan. They had them when I worked on the railroad. And then they had the little flapper apparatus that trigger either way. It would say, tell them they're dragging equipment. And it even tells them what axles are failed and everything. And I guess they got them for flat wheel sensors also inside the rails. Some locations. So the one far-away video, I said, there's videos about that stuff you can look up on YouTube. Said they're required every 20 miles. So around here, the one I remember, there's one on the, I think the west end of Sebring. Of course, there's one in Salem near Carriage Hill on Snyder Road. And they always report via radio, and most of the time it's no defects. Milepost number, track 1, no defects. And then you'd hear the engineer come on the radio. Engine such number, tell him where he's at, track 1, no defects, out. Because the station would be like, over. His response was clarify that he got the information and then end the radio transmission with an out. So I don't remember any of the other ones toward East Palestine, New Waterford, Columbiana. But Conrail, before it was Norfolk Southern, whatever the federal required, they went above and beyond just for safety reasons. So I'm sitting in the front room, and my phone goes off last night, and my phone's dead. It doesn't do any messaging, so that had to get through somehow. And it's about the derailment in East Palestine. I'm like, well, that's 2 nights ago. Well, here they got something critical about possibility of an explosion in one of the tank cars. They've been kind of roasted for 2 days. God forbid that they should fail. And I remember them reporting that the air was clear and all this stuff when there was flames coming out. And I'm like, what are you smoking? So yeah, you can get on YouTube and check out hotbox dragging equipment detectors and that was all labeled in the electronics DED and HVD when I was there. Different railroads are going to do different things their own way. And of course, I've been out of it for over a quarter century from a railroad injury. So, yeah, I've got a drone. I mean, I could hide out somewhere and fly, but there's enough drone footage for that. And I got emphysema. The last thing I want to do is breathe more caustic stuff in my lungs. It might have been vinyl chloride I breathed on just not far from East Palestine across the border. Well, my Jeep, when I was going down a right-of-way on the south side of the track, same direction the train was, back in the mid-90s, my Jeep came to a spot that was just too much loose ballast gravel, and it started wanting to go down to a ravine, and I was like, well, let's make sure it's out of the reach of the train. And then I walked a few miles, and a guy from Salineville brought his backhoe back, and together we got that thing from going down. But yeah, it was just too much loose gravel. But yeah, when I was walking, a train passed me, and possible vinyl chloride or something else, and I could not breathe. It just took my breath away. So of course, when you get down there, these old people that are, supervision people and all them, they don't care about anything. I didn't have a radio to call anything in. And I doubt if they did call it in as they were supposed to. But yeah, when I see photography work done on railroads, I just like, oh my God. And then they bring young women or something out there and said, they go take your selfies, leave the healthy people out there and your children. You hear super fun sights, these railroads. Just think of all the leaks they've had. The line through Salem's been open since 1853. It was the Pittsburgh-Fort line, and I think Chicago or something railroad before it was Pennsylvania Railroad. You just think of railroads as super fun sites. Stuff's been leaking on them things for years, and then they spray defoliants. You don't see stuff growing there. They use your landscaping carpet under the rocks and everything, but they spray. Just think of it as that toxic waste site. And if you want to bring someone you care about out there just to get a photo, there's some old rail lines that are probably safer to go on. They got rusted track. If the rails are still jointed, bolted together, not one long weld, it's going to be a restricting 15-mile-an-hour speed if it's in use. And I'm sure you could find one that's out of use where it might not be too bad with the rain and everything's kind of knocked down the chemicals. But the other thing is, if you're on a live track, they warned us when we started working there that you're out in the country, you can't hear the train coming when there's snow on the ground. It muffles the sound. And if it's a level track or slight decline, the engine's not going to be making noise. And sure enough, they were dead on about that too. So yeah, just best to stay away. You can watch other people's videos. I guess everything's back on fire again. They had like every fire department, like a huge radius. Too many show up. And then they chased them away. Well, I guess maybe hitting everything with water might have sent stuff, done more damage, sending stuff downstream and stuff. So they were mentioning this morning the water in East Palestine's got color to it, but it's safe to drink. I'm like, who are these people? It's safe to breathe when the flames are still going. The water's discolored. It's safe to drink. Just don't. Like, what in the world? It's, oh my God, what's wrong with these people? I mean, you need people you can trust. And unless they give you the data on the water and show you, or the air, just don't. So that's all I got to say. And like I said, it's stuff headed back down that way because they evacuated a mile radius possible explosion or shrapnel. So, yeah, if it's track related, then it can only happen there, you know. If it's train related, it could have happened near my house or anywhere in between. And so far it sounds like it was a bearing overheat. So, all right, have a great day. Be safe out there.